Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.
Come to Where I'm From podcast,
Hello.
Episode 116 with Kosha Dillz, who's busy on his phone right now.
AKA
Are you starting
Rami.
Are you starting to film this now?
We already started.
Rolling, dude.
All right.
This is how we roll.
Right, this is what we're doing.
You want to put headphones on?
I guess. I
Or
guess
not.
I have no choice.
You do have a choice,
Yeah.
but it's more fun with the headphones
Yeah.
on.
Let's get it on.
You know, then you're in the world.
There
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Now you have a radio voice.
Yo.
He does. I don't.
Yeah.
You have a good
We-
voice too.
Jazz 89.9.
We should put bass,
Morning.
like Howard Stern uses compression and
On top,
and then EQ's bass. Hello now, you know what I mean?
EQ's the bass out.
No, EQ's more bass in.
Oh, you don't need more bass.
Telling you, man. It amps up the sexy if you amp up the bass.
All right, I'll try it.
That works with music too.
There you go.
I've been mixing new songs lately.
Okay.
How's it going?
It's cool, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Excited to be here.
Where do you live?
I live in Brooklyn right now.
Okay, but
Yeah.
moving to Israel?
No, I was in Israel, and then I
About faced.
came here. Yeah, I went back to LA in the pandemic, and then from LA I migrated to Brooklyn.
So you didn't last that long in Israel?
Didn't last that long, yeah. Just before there's the end of the world, you know.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the pandemic started early. I'd like to think more.
Yeah.
I would have been back there if the tour was everything went as planned, but it didn't, Joseph. Just like this podcast was supposed to start earlier, but you weren't here.
I mean,
So good.
we started at 8:36. I'm 6 minutes late.
Hey, I wasn't counting. You were.
That's not that bad. That's not that bad.
He walked in here frazzled when you weren't here, carrying the speaker, and he forgot his wallet on the subway. Apparently.
Yeah. It was been
Really?
a day. Yes.
Mercury's in retrograde.
Well, I mean, we got a Diet Gatorade, so I think it worked. No, it's actually Snapple. I was just thinking as a rapper what rhymed with retrograde Gatorade. Yeah,
bad.
you know, I didn't.
You're onto something with
Yeah.
that. You should explore that.
Yo, I
Meter maid,
it happened.
getting paid,
Yes.
laid,
Here you go.
don't fade.
Trade.
I'm gonna join your brigade.
Nice.
All right. Medical aid.
Medical aid.
Man, if we play cards, I hope I get at least 5 spades.
That's an incredible blaze. So let me tell you a story about the wallet. So there was these kids dancing on a train doing a show,
As they do.
and I took out, $1, boom, to just throw them one, And now that I think about it, I should have given them two.
Mhm.
But yeah, just, I don't know, left the wallet or fumbled out of my hand or something, like right when I got off the train, and I'm like, I don't have my wallet, right? Let me check. What are the chances I just got pickpocketed on the train? And I didn't, of course. I'm a clumsy person. And, someone turned it in. And so I went out. I performed in Union Square. And then I, went around, and I'm like, nah, no one's going to have this wallet. And I said, you know what? Let me text my friend who works at the MTA. So I texted him, and he's like, go to 8th Ave. Because at 8th, it's the end of the L train. And then I went there. Then I went up to 6th, which is the one before that. And then I got back to Union Square, and that's where it was.
That's a miracle that someone turned it in.
And all the money was there. Everything was there.
That's incredible.
I mean, I don't...
That's a feel-good story.
It's, I knew it was going to happen, though. You know what I'm
How'd you
saying?
know?
I don't know. I just didn't think...
Manifest it.
I don't know. It's like there was only $24 in there. That's why. You know what I'm saying? If there was like 2,000, maybe it would be different, but maybe not.
What would you do if you found a wallet with 2,000?
I would want to give it back. I'll tell you why. Because the story that happens after the person who gave back the $2,000 wallet, that story lives forever, and that's worth way more than $2,000. And it changed the course of somebody's life. And it's not even part of your life. You just like interjected it. You know what I mean? Like you were just like, no, $2,000 is part of my life. It's not. You just, came across it.
Is that different if it's $2 million in the wallet?
I think if you put $2 million wallet and you want to keep it, you're playing a different kind of game. Someone's got to come back and find you.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, I found it on the floor. Like, yeah, sure. You also found, someone's car keys on the floor. Doesn't mean the car is yours. You just found car keys. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, it is nice. But I knew it. I was like, this is New York. New York is the best. New York is the best, and I'm gonna get all my money back. And I canceled the card right away, just in case. But I also knew it wasn't because someone stole it from me. I knew it because I left it, So it wasn't. So
Right.
I mean, I love finding people's phones and saying, "Hey, I found your phone." They're like, "No way, thank you so much." I'm like, I just found it, bro. It's no big deal.
How long have you been back or is this your first time living in New York?
Yeah, my first time ever in my life. It's cool.
How long?
Well, I just signed a lease the other week.
So this is brand new.
This is brand new.
Oh.
Signed the lease in February.
And what do you make of it?
Man, my goal is to just put furniture in the apartment. Really, it's kind of where I'm at right now.
I have that same goal. I'm in a new place.
Yeah, and I have a 2-bedroom and a backyard, and it's cool, man. It's just me.
Nice.
I live next door to these chefs. They're amazing chefs. They're like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. It's got some salmon. They're like, "All right, let's do something with it." You're like, "Really? You want to just do something with it?"
You're already making friends with your neighbors like that?
Well, they knew who I was from music.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, they're some of the first. They work at the Knickerbocker Market next to the L Train Vintage Store in Bushwick.
Mm-hmm.
And we I found out, and the girl next door, it's a girl and 2 chefs, and the girl has the same birthday as me. So we had met at a party, and I'm like, this girl looks familiar. You know what I mean? Who
Sounds
is this
like
person?
a sitcom right there.
Yeah.
2 chefs, a girl.
Yep, and a Jewish rapper moving downstairs from Maria.
So how long were you in Israel for?
9 months.
Because you were planning on living there for permanent sort of
I
vibe.
mean, I don't think anything's permanent
Right,
for me.
but
But yeah.
for a long term more,
Yeah,
right?
Year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years.
So why'd you cut it short?
Coronavirus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't come here. I was coming here to make money. I had a whole tour set up and everything, and then obviously everything got canceled, and now you're shit out of luck. I came here to make money, and now all the money was gone. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, well, this is what we're gonna do now.
Oh, so you moved there to live, came here to do a tour, and then just stayed here.
Yes.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
So did you pack up your old place?
Yeah, because my parents have a place there, so I have my stuff. And I got packed up my spot in L.A. because I had the old spot in L.A. So I was basically leaving the spot in L.A., getting like grandfathering in another group of kids, not kids, but some other people. And yes, when I came to New York in July, we just got in the car and I had 4 bins of shit, nothing. Just got rid of everything out there and that's it. I bring 4 bins and.
Did you set up a studio in the new spot?
Not yet. I want somebody to really just come through and just say, all right, listen, this is what we're going to do here. Because I got the whole extra room for it. So
Right.
I would love to do it. A studio/meditation room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my situation. I got a 2-bedroom and I made one of them my music studio and the other one my art studio. And I'm just living in the rest of the apartment like it's a studio apartment.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously you could, you don't have to take much effort to go to your art studio. You just walk in there barefoot, with a coffee. You don't have to put your clothes on, whatever. Just go and hop on. And then if you decide to go to the next studio, maybe put some socks on.
But it's weird because you paint I don't know. I want to paint in the main.
Did you paint this?
Room. Yeah.
Okay. That's sweet, man.
And his fucking jacket.
And my jacket.
Available
I realized.
JosephArthurStore.com or whatever it is. Poppy.
Yeah.
Plug it.
Yeah. ShopJosephArthur.com.
Gorgeous. Love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
I asked for one 2 months ago.
How much do they cost?
I forget. I think they're
They're expensive.
$350.
$350 for a jacket?
But they cost nearly that to make. I mean, there's
Custom.
definitely a price increase, but they're made well. They're made in America, handmade type of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
God willing, you sell a lot of them.
yeah, it's fun. I mean,
Or you dress up some supermodels that wear that high-end stuff.
you know, there's all kinds of things. Have you heard of NFT? NFTs?
No.
Non-fungible.
Oh, yes. I
non-fungible
just read
tokens.
about that. What is that? So it's
I
like
mean, it's
someone,
it's
I could
this-
give you Dogecoin for that, or like.
Right, or Ethereum, but
Right.
like the digital version of it.
Oh, sick. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would totally give you a little bit of Bitcoin.
But
Yeah.
I bring it up like because also you can sell your music with tokens like that too. Like
yeah,
you
I
can
totally want to take Bitcoin,
Ethereum.
What's
Ethereum,
Ethereum?
Doge.
You're
It's
making
another-
fun of it, but
No, I'm not.
You're
I'm not
not?
because
You're
I
in-
sell
bought.
songs like privately, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
I make custom-made rap songs
Custom-made
for
rap
people.
songs.
well, so
Be
this
like,
is it. Like
This
because
is it. Because
this
just give
is-
me. I don't have the balls to take my money and start spending, going on a little thing on Robinhood. But I would totally sell my vinyls and everything. Like, just give me some bit, like whatever.
Ethereum.
Yeah. Is it only Ethereum? Is
Yeah,
the only thing?
non-fungible or fungible tokens.
What
are-
is
are
it?
Ethereum.
What
It's
is
an
Ethereum based of? It's like basically scrapes
I'm
for
just
digital.
learning about it, but it's just another cryptocurrency, but it has more sort of usability, I guess. Or you can do smart contracts with it, which is interesting because you can hire somebody to do a few tasks and then they get paid automatically after they achieve all the goals, and that's the smart contract.
Sick. Yeah, 100%.
It's like the internet for money.
I love it.
It's blowing up right now, though.
I just read an email about it from like
Yeah.
a big music thing, and it says artists are selling and using it, and they're making millions.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Right here.
yeah. Well, not yet. I'm going to explore it, though, and learn it.
just did
You're
a post.
big on selling stuff.
I love to sell stuff. You know
Yeah.
why? Because then I don't have stuff that I've sold.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I do have it.
You know what sucks is when you have a bunch of stuff that you didn't sell.
Yeah. That's like.
And as an artist, you always have a bunch of stuff that you didn't sell.
I just
as
ordered
well.
a bunch of vinyl, and then I went over to what's the Thompson Records and on Bleecker Street and Village Revival.
Uh-huh.
And, put the vinyl in the store. The guy's like, I'll sell it. I'm like, perfect. Yeah.
That's cool.
I
You
just-
hand delivered it.
Yeah, because I'm like, and I'm like, I've been out the vinyl game for a minute, I released a digital version, I have some CDs, but, put me on a tour and I'll sell it on tour,
Mm-hmm.
I'll perform a show and then you guys see the show and you buy the vinyl and the shirt and everything and get a hat and
The ashtray.
yeah, whatever, you buy it all, you buy everything.
Whatever you're selling. But the problem with vinyl is it's like it's like a 3-month
Yeah, it took a long time. I
takes
paid
a long time to
It's a long
figure
time.
vinyl
It's
out.
expensive, but so you got to get more for it to really be worth it. So I got like 500,
Right.
and I'm like, holy shit! I was like, we could do 500 vinyl. Should have got 200. I'm like, no, because you get 200 for it's like just as much.
the
The
same
waiting
price.
time. Yeah, you might as well just store it. Yeah, if you got storage space for vinyl,
Like a two-bedroom
get
apartment in
exactly.
Yeah, but you know what? A
Exactly.
2-bedroom fills up faster than you think. I thought when I
Mhm.
moved into it, it was going to be like, oh, I'll have space for days. But
No, it fills up because a 2-bedroom in Brooklyn is different than a 2-bedroom in South Carolina or wherever. It's just
Yeah.
different.
have you ever slept on the floor?
In places, not in my own place.
Yeah, I like that.
At other places or your own place?
No, just my own place.
I know people that have done that.
I started doing it, and it's
I've
like,
never talked
on
to
the
them.
floor,
Yeah, and
explain what pillow and then on the floor.
I put down 2 yoga mats and like a comforter or maybe 2 comforters.
Okay.
So it's
it's
like,
like a sleeping bag situation.
and then and
Make
then I
your
got
own sleeping bag.
pillows. I mean, yeah, it's basically a sleeping
Okay.
bag vibe. But I was just in a hotel in Seattle and sleeping on a plush bed, and I didn't like it as much.
Listen, everyone has what they prefer, and you
Yeah.
prefer laying on the floor.
Yeah. So lately,
Yeah.
but it's nice when you're in a new apartment because you can explore different. Do I like sleeping in this room or this?
I just
room?
fell asleep on my couch last night for the first time, and a
Mhm.
new couch that I got. I'm upcycling my entire apartment.
Mm.
So, just everything is free or stooped from the street.
Oh, right.
So I'm like, my neighbor has tons of shit, and I'm like, yes. And they're like, we got to bring you this and mirrors, and because she does set design.
Right.
So they just got so much extra stuff. They just
Wow.
want to get rid of it, and they're like, well, we could design your apartment. I'm like, yeah. Who wants to put stuff in here? Let's
That's
do
good
it.
karma.
Because you know what? Because when I do get up and leave again, I have no attachment to any of this shit because it's all
Right.
free. I have spent money on the bed, and that's it.
That's good. Yeah, you can find great shit in New York on the street.
Yeah, because it costs more money to like get rid of it than just
yeah.
fucking
And-
400. No, it's
And
1-800
everybody's
jump.
moving. Everybody's moving. So, but I don't feel like New York is like a nightmare. People like talk about, oh, it's like fucked up and all this, and I know it is, but it doesn't feel bad to be here when you're in the city.
no.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
There's definitely like, and everyone's like, is it dangerous? Is it scary? I do feel like there is like the chances of me getting into a random fist fight are like accelerated within New York. I just want to say that specifically to this city.
Why is that?
But
Random fist.
like I don't know, it's happened.
The
I think it's
energy
because if you're on the street with street people, and I do a lot of street performing, like since the pandemic happened, it's just like today, a guy like came and he started ripping up his like medical papers, and he was really crazy. So I just turned the beat down. You know what I mean? I just turned the beat down, and hopefully we keep talking to himself and go along. And then he's like, "Why'd you turn the beat down? Blah blah. Blah. Why you I'm better than you." And he started like rapping at me, and I'm just like, "Okay, buddy." It's like, "Okay," you know what I mean? It's all good. It's
Was
all
he good?
No. But he had a super New York accent, and he was like fresh out the loony bin. And with all due respect, you know what I mean? Like
To
people,
loonies.
yeah, listen, seriously, wherever you like, I totally, and I learned that, but I just, I'm here to try to work, and I just lost my wallet, and now you're screaming at me and ripping up your medical papers and scaring everyone else in the park, walking by. No one wants to come talk to me or look at my vinyl or anything. Because,
Where were you doing that?
Union Square.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
How-
because
how
it's a
long
market.
How long have you been doing that? Street
In
performing?
the pandemic, I've done it before, but like in New York specifically, I feel like I've caught a vibe here, and it's really nice.
That's cool. I actually should do that too.
So you
It's
just
out there for the
freestyle?
taking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just go out on the street and just freestyle, and then I'll go on a live stream IG and just put up the Venmo Cash App and just entertain people and say, here we are in New York City.
Okay, so you're doing it on live
Doing it live
stream and
in real life,
that's
people,
cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, the content's priceless, because people are, and someone's always coming up with the camera, someone's doing a little documentary, someone's doing something.
Yeah.
Filming
And
you.
yeah, so today, even some guys that came up and interviewed me, they were like, they do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's talk about
All
fight.
right.
Let's talk about you're being a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. And that's what, and it was you, the guy that lost his mind and ripped up his medical papers, and I lost my wallet. And that's basically the topic of today. And, today I wouldn't say today was not a good day. It was like one of my worst days for street performing.
You just didn't make tips or what?
It was just the energy was crazy. Yeah, that plus, I lost stuff. But like today was successful just because I like mailed out all the vinyl orders I had. I had a lot of vinyl orders, which was great because I just discovered where my post office was. But it's saying, yeah, as far as like the vibe of the street performance, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm just not going to post that. Nah. Some days are good, some days are bad, but it's about going on the off days. It's not about the good days, right?
Yeah,
It's about
exactly.
you go out and get 4 bad days, like on a tour. You do a Monday, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but, everyone wants the Friday, Saturday money, or the Sunday brunch money, but that's not life, you know what I mean? It's like the off days.
Yeah, it's about like pushing through no
You gotta
matter if you feel like it or not.
Exactly, because that's the spot where you never know.
That's so true. I had a great day today. I woke up early, went on a 5-mile run early in the morning.
Nice. I do 5 milers.
Before 8. This was my first 5-miler in a while and I was doing longer like a few months ago, and then I fell off, and then it was like 2.5 mile ones.
I'm coming up on a year since I did the marathon. I did the LA Marathon in March.
That's crazy.
Really?
It was the last mass like running thing, and then they shut everything down. Everyone's like,
Wow.
I can't believe they're not shutting the LA Marathon down because of coronavirus.
Was it your first one?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was the most, man, talk about a mind-boggling experience. To run is hard, but to run with everyone, so much easier. Like you're prepping for it by yourself, and you have the power and the energy of the crowd cheering you on. Game over.
Really?
It's a wrap. Have you done one before?
No, but I want to.
You could do
I
it.
respect that a lot.
You could do it. You could do it. And I trained. I really like. To be honest, I ran it because of a girl, and this girl told me I could run a marathon, and I was like, I'll run a marathon. So I ran, 3, 4. I did a 6. I was like, oh my God, I did 6 miles.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take it up a notch, and then I just jumped to 15.
Right.
When I got back to Israel, I went this way, 7 miles, 8 miles, and then back. In the middle of the night, like. Jet lagged, but I had the headphones on, Bluetooth, bought the Bluetooth at the airport. Game over. Bluetooth headphones and some rap music and running and your own imagination as a musician, creative. You could pretend you're having a conversation with someone for, 30 minutes.
It's the best.
It's like running, dude.
It's like you're breathing all this oxygen. Half of it is just the Wim Hof, like getting all the oxygen in. It's just oxygenate yourself.
I don't know about that as far as the oxygen.
Well, it forces you to breathe a lot. That's what I mean.
I would say where I started, I was training in Utah, like my first runs in the end of January. February, I ran in Israel. March, I ran in LA. After I did the 15 mile, like my feet were literally like, I felt like my body was shattered. Then I ran the 20 mile. You're supposed to do a 20 mile. Like when you train, this is what people told me. Mm-hmm. I knew nothing about marathons, nothing. I just wanted to run because this girl said to run a marathon. And then the 20, after I did that, I was like, I'll just do like a 6. And then you just show up game day. I got to the 20 mile and then like my body began to shut down.
So were you worried that you might not make it?
Like I felt the blisters and stuff in the last 6 miles, like on my toes and things like that. I got new shoes, and then I had to take like a salt pill or something like that. They had these salt pills that you take, because you're getting excited and people are in LA. They're like giving out donuts and shit. And you're like running. You're like, I'm sorry, like, oh, and you're just drinking all this water, but your body's like in shock. You can't even urinate.
The salt pills are like the electrolytes.
Yes, so it prevents you from going into cramps.
Right.
And at the end, dude, I was literally like crawling. The last 6 miles, it was just so hard. And I was like, oh my God, this is the worst experience of my life.
Was the girl at the finish line, or was she running with you?
No, I never.
What was the prize from the girl?
No, nothing. She just, nothing. She wasn't,
She was no longer
there.
Present?
No, she was
Did
not.
you text her and say, hey, I did it?
I did, yeah, and that was it. Yeah,
Did she respond?
She responded.
What'd she say?
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, that was it.
It's like one of those things.
It was one of those things.
Oh,
like
I was just kidding.
It didn't really matter. In fact, I was like, because I always dreamed of it. I always dreamed of running a marathon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've also probably always dreamed, like, I can do this. You know what I'm saying? You're running and shit. I was thinking this marathon. And here comes Kosha Dillz, and you're like, fuck, no.
I'm going to do it. It's like you threw the gauntlet down.
Yeah, dude. You should run it.
Most I've run is like, I think like 14 miles, something like that. I've done that a few times.
If you could do 14, dude, easy. You don't even have to try. Like, dude, just show up and do it. You could literally, but the joy, listen, and this is very much as far as music. It's like you could go make an album tomorrow and release it on Friday.
Yeah.
But the joy of it is to revisit it and dig in and see the growth and the changes and the things you don't want to do, and shorten your time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I go back, I could run a marathon tomorrow too, but will I do it in 6 hours, or I would do it? my time was like 4 hours and 50 minutes. And like, I stopped because like it was like a Jewish holiday. It was like Purim, and like and a rabbi stopped me to like rap to fill in. It was just crazy. It was like crazy things that were happening because it was LA. There's all these people out, right? And this is the end of coronavirus. The world is about to shut down. And I know like specific things stopped, shortened, lengthened my time. And my buddy told me, he goes, if you go and you do the training and then you cut your time down to like 4 hours and 10 minutes, I mean, now you're talking like now we're really kicking some ass because now you're getting better. Like now you're elevating your life.
Well,
and that's what it's about.
It is. The brain arose to facilitate movement. I was at a party one time and a biologist said that to me and it blew my mind.
Say it again?
The brain arose to facilitate movement. So the brain's primary purpose is movement. And even organisms that like amoeba-like organisms in the sea that move at a certain point of their journey, once they latch onto a stone and they're never going to move again, they digest their whole nervous system because it's useless. It's there for movement. So the reason that's interesting is if you're doing something like boxing or yoga or running, something that you're trying to improve upon, like what you're saying, your brain is just, that's when the best ideas come, the most inspiration, because your brain is like free. It's doing its function.
I started journaling every day, and I don't really do that. You know what I mean? But I do now.
You clearly do.
I do now. That's something we do.
Yeah.
Over in Brooklyn. That's what we've been writing. I was doing it in Jersey. I've been doing it for a month and like a half, maybe 2 months. And pretty much every day.
When? In the morning, first thing?
Trying to. If I don't, my life is drastically different. Mm-hmm. Like today, I didn't journal. That's why I've had a shit day. It could be comparable to that. And it's just like draining your brain of like all this thought patterns. You know, you're like blah blah.
Is
blah,
it
blah,
morning
blah.
pages or journaling? Like you like writing what happened like the day before?
No. It's just like thoughts, really. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it switches on and off. I don't even read it. I just put it out there.
That's great.
The last time I did that, really, at a time in my life, I was in jail. I was like writing every day. I was writing. I was like, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write every single day in here, and I have all that stuff done, and then just wrote.
You gotta edit it now.
I had someone edit it. Yeah.
Oh, really? So you did write the book?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
What's that called?
Well, I mean, it's not essentially a name. I think we were trying to make it sort of a Jewish book, and because I do a program called From Jails to Judaism, because I was like really not into being Jewish, like the whole Kosha Dillz identity wasn't even born yet. But when I got out of there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do Kosha Dillz, and so just having stuff photocopied and like scanned and stuff to be like to see the original stuff, because it's hard to even understand the way I was thinking at that time. I was a flagrant drug addict. My language skills were it was way different than now. You know what I mean? But it is very interesting to look back, and people are very interested to see what it's like, like people have a past.
Jail, you mean, or like
just anyone's personal past. Like for me to look back at what I was writing back then and analyzing it now as an adult, and then I was this kid.
Where were you in jail?
On Ocean County and selling ecstasy. That one, yeah. And then I was there for a little short time in Middlesex County.
How much time did you get?
3 months. It was supposed to be 9 months, and then it was supposed to be 5 years. It became 9 months, and then you get parole.
Were you freaked out when it first came down?
Because I'm like, what happened to you get off the first time, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like, now you're going, this is my first offense.
Is ecstasy
what
a felony?
Happened? Ecstasy is a felony. It was like the worst. It was like you just saw like Oxycontin on the cover of New York Times. That was like ecstasy back in the early 2000s. It was like ecstasy is killing everyone. My daughter was a cheerleader. Now she's nothing, it was like so they made an example out of me.
How'd you get caught? You sold it to a cop.
Undercover, probably.
The second time, yeah, second time. The first time we just woke up wasted on the beach, and there was like a bonfire, and everyone was just being stupid, and you just had a bunch of ecstasy on me.
Right.
And then the other guy had same kind on him too, so he turned on me, and yada yada yada. The story.
That sucks.
Wait, so you got arrested twice?
Well, I've been arrested more than that, but it's all but for those really
jail
big.
For the second one?
for the first one.
For the first.
For the second one, you're like, oh man, I'm definitely going away for a long time now. Because the second one I was set up. It was like a whole operation.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So
what else did you go to jail for?
This summer. I got arrested at one of the riots, but that was just for a little bit. That was just in the paddy wagon, which was also a new experience. I'd never been on a bus with other people. One of the protests.
Oh.
In L.A. Yeah, in L.A. Black Lives Matter protests. Yeah, so that happened.
But you didn't do any time for that.
No, I mean, we just say, let's go. And I actually dropped, I think I'm in a class action lawsuit for like getting, arrested falsely. At least in L.A., that's what happened in L.A.
Right.
L.A. is getting sued by the National Lawyers Guild or some shit.
Everybody's moving out of L.A., I guess.
Yeah, man.
I was watching something about people leaving California today. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is interesting.
Half of the people are moving to Austin.
Yeah, and I guess
for the snow.
I guess Joe Rogan and Dave Chappelle are like buying up all kinds of stuff in Austin, and they're gonna make it the new LA.
And Elon Musk left for Austin too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Austin's a bomb, dude.
Yeah,
Austin's great. I mean, I'm doing South by Southwest, the digital one coming up, and there's like only 300. I throw shows at South by every year called Oy Vey, and it's a big thing. It's huge. I've been doing it for 6 years.
Street shows?
Nah, like official showcases. They give
okay.
me my own thing, and I book big artists too from all over the world.
That's cool. How'd you get into music?
My buddy was a rapper. His name was Yak Balls. He was a big he wasn't a freestyle rapper. He was in the battle scene in New York, and we played soccer together. And he was in, and I started rapping. Everyone's listening to hip hop, Wu-Tang. I grew up 30 minutes away from Staten Island, and I was like, we all smoked weed and went to the New York Poets Cafe, and they had an extra space on stage, and I said, I'll go on stage, let's do it. And I got a lot of cheers, and I've been chasing those cheers ever since. I was age of 17.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then, I remember it like it was yesterday. Like I remember the whole thing. I was on the balcony.
Can you explain the battles thing to me? Because I wasn't here during that era.
Oh, basically, like you're on stage and you're going to go up and say, that my mom's a whore. And then I'm going to go on stage and be like, you're overweight and your wife's going to leave you. And,
But
your
rhyming.
feet
But
are
rhyming.
Yeah, exactly. But rhyming.
And freestyle. And
Yeah, and
off the
freestyle
cuff.
and off the cuff.
You got to make
and-
something personal about that guy right there and then.
Yes.
So people know that it's not all just...
Or you could prepare, and at that time, a lot of people were just preparing stuff and making like more generic things. So like a generic rap line would be like, this is just a proven scam. He's like, you're a super loser, not a Superman, and with your Superman shirt or something like that. And which I could be like sort of, he has a Superman shirt. But, or, and that could be like a generic, there could be like a generic thing or
pretty
point.
good. I mean, the Superman reference.
I can make a teeth reference, like referencing him like, I guess like, you don't want beef in this business, and your teeth look like yellow chiclets or something. Everybody like, I remember chiclets. I'll be like, oh,
Yeah, but his girl's a dentist.
Yeah, so
Just saying.
But that could be like a generic. I could probably use that on anybody. So like it's changed over the time, and that was just battle rap at the time, and
And you just picked up on it. It was just your thing?
Yeah, it's just like I loved competing. I wrestled my whole life, so I just liked one-on-one fighting. I liked competition. I liked not being friends with somebody.
You do?
I probably...
You like conflict?
Yes, I enjoy conflict. Yeah, conflict and confrontation. I don't know. It's something I like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I have my own mental issues, and I like to take them out on other people, essentially.
That's so revealing.
Nah,
In a kind of like psychopathic sort of way, or what?
I mean, just for the battle rap, it's great, and for, I had a discussion about this when I was street performing today, talking about to the guy, and he saw my ears, and they were the black belt in jiu-jitsu. They were talking about fighting and jiu-jitsu.
What, your ears have the cauliflower ears?
I have cauliflower. Yeah.
What's that?
That means like when you get hit a lot in your jiu-jitsu,
in wrestling,
makes your
jiu-jitsu,
ears-
your ears become cauliflowers.
Cauliflower.
So you have to get surgery on your ears. I had 3 surgeries on my right ear.
Oh, so you
2.
actually have
Yeah. Mine looks like normal because I got
Just
surgery.
from wrestling?
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm losing my train of
Learning
thought.
so much today.
Well,
That's all
you were
good.
talking about the jiu-jitsu guys.
People that know how to fight and know how to have conflict don't look for conflict. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, yeah, and that's just something we learned, you know? So the battling stuff is cool. And I still like it too. But like, you know, I'm not going to battle like the crazy guy that's ripping up his medical papers on the street. But now that I think about it, maybe I should like and just film it and be like, here's me battling some fucking homeless guy, you know, that's lost his mind and hates me. That's the content of the day.
Could go
And
viral.
it could go viral. Kosha Dillz raps. to
Where
this
do you
guy.
post, on YouTube or on Instagram?
Instagram a lot. I do the YouTube too, but my YouTube is not as successful as my Instagram. But
Yeah.
you know,
TikTok.
yeah, TikTok too. The other day, I did a TikTok of my neighbor building an igloo, and it got 80,000 views.
Wow.
Then I posted me rapping in the blizzard, and it got 200. So, you know what I'm saying? Everyone has their own choice of success out there.
Yeah,
I'm just
social
trying-
media is a funny game. It's like sometimes I have a lot of energy for it, and then other times I have to kind of just disconnect.
Yeah, no, for
you
sure.
know, and just work. Like
Someone
lately,
just-
I've been working on music and just
Yes.
focusing on tracks, like you're saying, and just
Mhm.
digging deeper into them. And when they're like start revealing themselves as like realized, it's such a magical feeling. I think like, man, I've had this my whole life, this place I can go and do this, and it's like it's such a good gift.
I think making songs and just locking into the studio and shutting everything off is super amazing.
It's the best.
You know, social media, like I remember somebody like telling me to like get off MySpace because it was so consuming me. And I remember like I thought I was literally going to die not being on MySpace at a time in my life. And I was like, oh my God. And now I have to do it with Insta. Like, you know, I have to delete the app when I'm like, if I'm not, so I don't just start randomly scrolling. Because I mean, I'm sober 16 and a half years. Like I have an
Really?
addictive personality.
That's great.
I have an really addictive
Me
personality. So for that reason, like I could literally be on scrolling, you know, on Instagram for, you know, hours upon hours with no, and then you just start feeling it doesn't enhance my life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you have to like take the necessary action to how to navigate those things. So when you make music and you lock in a studio, you know, everyone could go fuck themselves, and I'm just going to be here until I make these bangers. And then I'm just like, yes. And now I have these songs that could take me to the next level because I just shut my phone off. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine when musicians made music and they couldn't scroll on Instagram in the studio. Just the other year it happened, and they've been doing it for years. So it's like, you know.
I find it like when I'm in that space and I am super focused and super like just that's what I'm into, doing the work, it seems so easy and effortless, and it's like, of course, but then there's so much time where it's difficult to get into that space. Do you find that? And then if you do, how do you get yourself in that space?
That's a great question for me. And this is my biggest fear about having a studio in my own place, is that when I pay for a studio and I come to your space and you're like, here's the clock. You know, it's like working out at home or paying money to go to the gym. You go to the gym and it's all there, right? It's everything. Bench is this. You're like, dude, this is amazing for $35, $50 a month,
Yeah.
right? And then everyone's like, well, you don't know if you would go and you spend the $50 a month. You don't always use it. It's not worth it. But for me, if I spend some money on something, like that's how I kind of operate. I give myself a deadline, or you have 2 weeks, you locked out the studio. Now it's up to you to go get everything in, you know, and it's having a personal trainer. I need sometimes I need a little shove, you know, it's hard for me to do it by myself.
Yeah, the limitation of the clock is great for music and any art, you know, having limitations.
But but when I have somebody who could really engineer, like if I think, you know what, I know myself and I'm not getting this shit done, even though I'm not spending money, by not spending money, I'm actually losing I'm losing my time, my money, you know what I'm saying? I'm losing everything. It's like, I've been here for a month and I haven't recorded a song this month, you know what I'm saying? So so you need to say, shut up, okay, treat yourself to a day, don't go out to eat, you know, 7 restaurants, go home and cook, and, you know, spend it on a good studio with a good engineer to get in there to really, you know, find your vibe.
Yeah.
That's how it works for me. But that's how I've made some of the best songs in my life.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
Mm-hmm. Two. Mm-hmm.
Brothers or sisters?
Bros.
2 brothers.
Yes, sir.
Where are you in the
youngest?
The youngest. What do they do?
One is a strength trainer. He's like the original dude. Like he was doing lifting tires in like the 2000s. You know, he was the guy that was before it was popular, telling people to run with sleds and shit and like parking lots and stuff. And he was putting signs up on trees. And my other brother teaches self-defense in the Orthodox Jewish community, like active how to disarm active shooters without being a shooter. Like someone comes into your synagogue and starts saying like, you know, we're going to kill everybody, you know, what to do, how to react, stuff like that.
So you guys all learned how to fight?
We all wrestled, yeah. What
did your folks do?
My dad was an engineer. Mom was a nurse. So just an immigrant family, really.
And what led you guys to wrestling and fighting and stuff?
I think my dad said, he's like, I wanted my kids to be tough Jews. You know, something like that. Accent. Yeah. And he's from like the Eastern Bloc of, you know, he's former Romania, Transylvania. That's where he's from. And my dad, that's what they wanted us to do. And it's like what I did, you know, soccer and that. So.
Yeah. And then did you go do that in college too, wrestling?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to college?
Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, boys to do well in college. I don't think I was a superstar, but, you know, the drugs came and then that was it. Wrestling out the door. Yeah, and then the music, man. And then, you know, the music has kind of taken me all over the world.
Yeah. So you started doing that in college, recording and stuff like that?
Yeah, my dream was just to put out a vinyl in college. But I left with like 2 felonies and jail time. But I got the record out in 2005, you know what I'm saying? Years later, I put the record out. I remember it. Did you get a deal or something like that? I never got any deal. No, it's so funny. I have more discussions with major labels today at my age than earlier. To the other day, I was talking to somebody about getting a distro deal with Universal, and just like, I don't know, it just seems odd.
I don't think age matters. I think
at this point it doesn't. At this point it don't.
If you can connect, that's
if
it.
People, you know, I think when you think about age mattering, you think that you are unable. I have more of an ability to connect to younger communities that I wanted to be involved in 6 years ago now, because maybe I've learned how to just operate more authentically, you know, or just people just say, you know what, it clicked for me, and we like this, and that's it, you know. So with your point of saying that age doesn't matter, I think it does matter for the artist actually to get older, because it's the artist's job to connect. It's not the crowds.
Like 27,
dude. You know, I think the main point of age is to be is that I'll live longer than everybody, and that's, you know, that's why when you date a younger woman, you're like, it doesn't matter if you're going to die first, you know. You got to think.
Is that your situation?
No, it's not. I just thought about that. I was like, it's a line. You're like, well, I'm younger and you're older. I'm like, well, you're going to die first, so it doesn't matter, right?
So where'd you record that?
This?
Kosha Dillz, Nobody Cares Except You.
Yes, I recorded that. Man, let me think about. So Mike Machinist. I recorded some of these songs in Jersey City, Hoboken area.
Nice.
Maybe this exact specific place was West Orange.
The Snapple bottle.
It's a high class.
You revealed the expensive
high class situation.
Yeah.
Sponsor our Snapple.
And then I recorded some of that in Los Angeles. I recorded a song with Gangsta Boo there. I recorded one of the songs at Modest Yahoo's place.
He's on the album, right?
Yeah.
Track 2.
Mm-hmm.
Mati.
Is that a co-write?
Yeah, I guess we wrote it together, yeah.
That's a good one.
And then recorded some in Brooklyn. Recorded a bunch of other songs in Brooklyn, actually. Yeah, Williamsburg.
Right.
Yep. And this dude, Mike, and who's in Austin, shout out to Mike Machinist, he mixed and mastered the record.
So when did this come out?
Digitally in October, and the vinyl just dropped. So this is like brand not
new.
even a week
Fresh.
old. Yeah, super fresh. So, you know, Rami Evan fresh. That's it, you know.
You
My last
excited
name
about
is
it?
my last name is Evanesh. So people used to say, Rami Evanesh, Rami, your life's a mess. Oh, Rami Evanesh, Rami Evan Fresh. I'm very excited about it. It's great.
Why didn't you go with Rami Evan Fresh?
I mean, I was thinking about doing a name change when I get, in my 40s.
Just so you know, Poppy, speaking how words have a lot of meaning.
Kosha Dillz.
The name of his last name is Evan Esh. In Hebrew, that's stone fire.
Stonefire.
It's a heavy name. Like
Yeah,
Evan
I would be
Esh.
huge in the yoga community for sure.
Right. Do you do yoga?
No, but I stretch.
The thing with
I
the
did
morning
Pilates.
routines, like what we were talking about earlier with the journaling, is when you break it down, like all the things you're sort of supposed to do is the exercise, take a run or whatever, yoga, then journaling, then meditation. Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
You have to like kind of wake up and just go.
Right. Exactly. Today I put on some meditation music and I was waiting for it to change. It was like, I was like, and it went on for a minute. I was like, is there going to be any alteration here? Mm-hmm. But actually I'll share with you. So I did like some really deep work on journaling and just like really digging into some dark areas of my life. I think in the areas of like relationships. And this guy told me to like write and envision or see a picture of you as a child. Mm-hmm. And like, cause most of our issues are like all related to our childhood,
Definitely.
So like that you were the person that was there for the child. And I went and I was journaling and like 10 days in a row, I cried every day, mm-hmm. like ugly cry. Like I haven't cried like this in years. Mm. And I haven't been able to do that in a while, but I think it's super important to journal for whatever reason it has been, and it was really powerful to like look at these pictures of me as a child from like school and stuff, and just thinking of like, well, what was I thinking back? You know what I mean?
And then writing to the inner child.
You're like writing to this person and that, or you're like imagining that you are there with this person while you're writing, and you're like the father of this young child.
Right. Yeah, that sounds like John Bradshaw work. Have you ever heard of him? Mm-mm. He does a lot of healing inner child stuff.
Someone told me about this dude, and I was like, somebody told me about to write it, so I just did it, and I was like, holy God.
Yeah. Yeah, his thing is like if you have a fear or some kind of recurring rumination that's negative or dark or something, you go down to like your first childhood memory where that feeling came up, and then mm-hmm. you like go down to your inner child and you say to your inner child like, hey, you're safe. This is like, I'm hearing what you're feeling, and you sit with the feeling, and it really like if you do that kind of work, it elevates.
Dude, I just felt like when I was writing, and I was like, man, it's like, I don't know if you're writing on about, like, I was in my family's house. So when I was looking for the apartment, so I was like having these experiences with my father and my mother that I really haven't had in a long time. It was really nice to be home. And to see the family. Yeah. Super dope. And like, I'm really fortunate. My family's been, my mom and my dad have been married over 50 years. So
right.
Mazel tov.
It is a mazel tov, It's crazy to think that people could be in a relationship for so long and just not split up, even if they have tons of differences or who knows what happened, right? But just things from like all the way back to my family and the Holocaust to, you think about all these things like generational things that happened that created us with these genes and things that people went through.
And the trauma is generational.
Generational trauma
gets passed down.
Yes. So I look at it as I'm like, oh my God, I have to deal with all this. And then my brother has to deal with all that. And my other brother deals with all that. I'm the only one that's in recovery from being sober. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I at least had like some tools of like therapy. I went to therapy for 8 years in a row. So yeah, man. And it's crazy. Like right now, I'm like really comfortable at my age and being around younger people and being a younger rapper and explaining the music. And it's humbling. Like I'm rapping on the street right now, selling my record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was on tour with Everyone. Everybody, you know what I mean? And everyone was. No one's on tour right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm choosing to do right now, you know?
But as a touring artist myself, I like look at that and you doing street performance and respect it. I think it's cool. I want to do it too. It's inspiring, actually.
I just think, thank you.
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge you said it's inspiring. It's definitely not for everybody, but for me, it's like, what a great way to like meet people in my city. And the people that do like it are awesome. And the people that don't like it, because I'm single and I would see a girl would see me and they're like, oh, I would never date him because he street performs. Well, I wouldn't want to be with somebody like that. No, but I'm just saying, for instance, like that's a fear, right?
Oh, right.
You're like, oh my God, what are they going to think of you?
Right. Like, oh, you're a street performer.
Oh, you're a
It's
street
like a
performer.
lower form of
You're a
entertainment.
lower,
Yeah.
you're like beneath the surface. Like one, it's not the only thing I do. Two, you don't know how much money I earn, which is your own insecurity. Three, even if you think that way about other street performers, right?
Yeah.
Which would be reflective, I would say, would I ever want to be with the person that's like that?
Well, I
You know
think
what I mean?
everybody's living in this time where we all have the ability to put ourselves out there if we
Yes,
want.
If we want.
And it's difficult. I think it's like it's really difficult to share, but I find if I'm not actively sharing my evolution, I lose it. It's like, you know, like they say in the 12-step program or whatever, you got to give it away to keep it. I think that is so true with life. And I find like when I do share evolution stuff, that it definitely does make me flourish in healing and stuff. And I think so. I think like if somebody sees a street performer nowadays, it's just respect, because it's like that's a person who's overcoming the demons of stopping you. Everyone wants to express themselves, but so many are stopped by their internal demons, and you're somebody who's freed yourself to the degree that you can do that. I think it's a very shallow person that would judge that as like, oh, they're somehow not
right.
something because
Right.
they're doing that on the street, especially in this COVID era. You know, it's shifted. Our reality has shifted a lot.
Yeah, it has.
You know, and we are all shifting a lot, and it's a lot.
It is.
I don't know. And I've only met you twice. I've only met Rami for
That's
the first
it?
time last year, and he came in to do a live stream at Bowery just randomly. It was like a rap. It was like a rap night or something. And you just seemed, your personality was that you were a hustler, you were a hard worker, you were doing everything yourself. You had that drive. Like I could sense it from you. So you just going the extra step now and doing the street performance and just doing whatever and selling, and it just fit
Sell.
that first reaction I had from you that's who you were.
Thank you. I want to say that I forgot what I was going to say.
And you had merch, and you had like your merch was cool, and I remember you had some Kosha Dillz thing that I wanted.
Yeah,
It
it's
was like-
amazing.
And I liked your music.
That's
and it's
that's
not
the
my
key.
thing, but your songs were catchy.
That's the key, right? People have to like the music, you know. But I was going to go back to the thing you said about connection of like
Throwing yourself out there.
the one thing. Well, no, I don't remember what I was going to say. And we'll go back to connection. I want to say this before I forget it. I feel specifically that in the city of New York and everywhere around the world that people, especially next level creatives and next level people, are looking for this connection, inspiration, and they're looking for it on the street. They're going through, they're thinking, they have these deep, like life-changing financial phone calls, and they need to see something that's going to be like, boom, right in their face. That's going to be like, whoa, I need to talk to this guy. Like, I feel like if Kanye saw me on the street, he would stop immediately and join me and be like, this is what, like, these are where viral moments are created. This is going to happen. And it's just a matter of time before it happens. You know what I mean? But if you're staying in your house and you're in your head, that moment is not happening.
That's
and
true.
these moments have happened for me in the past. I got a commercial outside the Grammys. I was rapping on the street. I thought I was going to be at the Grammys,
You were manifesting.
and I got a $50,000 commercial. and I got 1 million views on a YouTube in LA. And, you know, these are just things that happen because you put yourself out there. So why wouldn't it happen again?
Yeah. And you know, that's true. And life is short. It's like, you just kind of got to get after it.
Yeah, dude.
And it's more fun anyway. So it's like, even if the viral moment doesn't happen, it's like you gave yourself, you know, you gave yourself a mission, and like that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we're all running on extreme amounts of delusion, and then you sometimes can amp your delusion into an agreed upon delusion called reality. But
amazing. Like, wow.
You know,
what is it? 100 times 1,000 is 1 million. Something.
I think so.
So like after 3 years, yeah, it sounds like
it sounds about
so,
right.
I mean, if you get a bunch of videos, 100 times 1,000 is 1 million.
100 times 1,000.
It's
100 times 100 times
Nah.
10,000.
Hold up. Is it 100,000?
You hit a soft spot here with us in math. It's like,
Let's do it.
not our forte.
do it.
Not our forte.
I guess it is 100,000 when I really think about it.
100 times 10 is 1,000.
So are you trying to manifest Kanye on the
100,000.
street?
I would love to
obvious.
manifest Kanye. I manifested one of Kanye's producers on the street, and it happened. And I connected with him, and he's an awesome guy.
So who are your favorites? Is Kanye one of your favorites?
Yeah, because he's not only is he an amazing artist, but he's an entertainer, and he's like a rep. He's like he shifts culture. He didn't just shift music.
Right.
I think that was like the Beastie Boys shifted culture. They didn't just shift music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you think of when I was rapping as a Jewish rapper to come in, I had Necro and I had Modest Yahoo, and those were like the Jewish that was like my world, right? That's like the music I listened to. Necro is like horrorcore, and Modest Yahoo is like spiritual Jewish reggae at the time. And
He evolved into the reggae sound
He was
too, right?
massive.
Like,
yeah, and
Isn't that-
he,
wasn't
and
that
he
an
evolved in so many different ways. Now I would say he's more rock, and he was in rock, and he's back to reggae, and he's so multifaceted, and he just caters to the core, right, and just wants to do what he wants to do, and make dope music. But for me, I definitely want to evolve from these sounds into all different sounds. But I think the ultimate factor for somebody that, like when you look at Kanye, I like Kanye because Kanye was like clothing. Kanye was like, I'm starting my Sunday. I should start like the Kosha Dillz synagogue and like all that shit. Like even though I'm not, Kanye is not like a pastor.
Sunday service.
Yeah, and I was there like when Kanye did Sunday service at Coachella. I did Mozzarella, and I did like we were in like 8 newspapers. We did a Passover Seder at Coachella. I went from performing outside Coachella to performing on stage at Coachella. I like to create those stories, and I feel like Kanye's done that. Outside of Kanye, I love Kid Cudi. And,
Me too.
I really think just his sound is epic.
yeah, super original.
To be honest, Modest Yahoo really inspires me because he's put me on so much stuff. And, like, as artist, his artistry is really dope. Like, he has levels from the beatbox to he could do a 3-hour show. He could do, and he always does his thing. He doesn't really cater to anyone else what they want, which I really respect that. Even though, I want to hear the hits too sometimes, but like he'll just do what he wants to do.
Yeah, I've seen that. He doesn't give a shit he just plays what he wants.
And I think that's a lot of my people that are the people that I like are. And I love Necro too. Like as far as what the stuff I grew up on, I like that. I like nonfiction. I like those. But for
What
new
about
rappers,
Gangstar?
yeah, of course, like
One of my
DJ Premier.
favorites, yeah.
I just did this 10 Bagel Commandments thing. I just did a remix over Premier's 10 Crack Commandments, which was
That's Biggie.
yeah, but Premier produced it.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And the thing is,
10 cracked commandments.
10 Crack Commandments.
10 Crack Commandments. And I did 10 Bagel Commandments, and I started rapping about food because food people love it. So speaking of food people, Action Bronson's awesome. But if I would shout out anyone that's new that no one heard of, I think people need to check out Homeboy Sandman. Is like really just a really, really, really dope New York artist that's worldwide. He's done Stone's Throw and mellow music, and he's just kind of also really making really cool shit.
And so how does the Judaism play into what you do? Because you use a lot of references, obviously.
Yeah,
and
as
how,
far as...
And how does your spiritual practice go? Do you do something actively to...
Culture-wise, I'd say I just think hip-hop really taught me how to represent. So hip-hop was like, represent. So that means I'm representing Jersey to the fullest because that's where I'm from, and representing Israel because that's where my family's from. And that's what I would assume that hip-hop taught me to do that. That's like, this Nas represents Queens, Biggie represents Brooklyn, Kosha Dillz from fucking Jersey, and Kiryat Tivon Israel, and from Jerusalem to New Jerusalem, which is, New Jerusalem's obviously like, what I learned to say from like the Outsiders and like a lot of the New Jersey hip-hop groups, which I didn't realize that was a totally practice of another religion from 5%ers. And I would say, as far as I liked to be referenced as Kosha Dillz, and then I realized that people really, it felt like me identifying solely as me. There was no one that was doing that, because I came from an era where if you sounded like anybody else, or you were like, there were no Lil this, Lil that, like those names didn't exist when I started. So you couldn't be like, MF this, MF that, MF this, MF that. It was not, there was two, MF Grimm and MF Doom, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So I just started like finding references, and then I started going to like yeshiva programs in Israel, and I was just starting to be like, the underground style was like lightning bolts, stone, fire, Evanesh, fucking Torah gems, like just like saying words that people would know, like, challah bread, and then it became funnier. It went from like serious stuff to more comical stuff, and saying, you say Jerusalem in a rap, you just said Jerusalem, it doesn't mean you're like some holy scripture of a Jew. You just happen to use these words in a rap. And underground rap at the time was sort of like, Wu-Tang spiritual warfare type rap.
Mm-hmm. So you wanted to include the spiritual world
into
it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Judaism was
dope.
Was your way into it.
I wouldn't say Judaism was my way into it. I was just using those as references. But being Kosha Dillz in America, because Kosha Dillz is such a Jewish reference from the Pickles.
Kosha Dillz Pickles.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
That's an American thing. Like people overseas didn't even understand. They would call me Kasha, because Kasha or Kosha is actually also an Indian name. And it's this kind of people,
But don't people know it's a pickle reference?
In America they do. But
right.
outside
And do you ever get people that think it's like more comedy based because of that?
Yeah, a lot of people think it's comical, and it is kind of, it's funny, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're in on a joke.
But you want it to be a comedy based, but it's not a comedy based
When I want it to, no, it's not. But when I want it to be funny, I do it, you know what I mean?
Your music video where you're dressed up as Hasidic Jew in Israel is...
schmoozin', yeah.
Schmoozin', that's a spoof.
It's a spoofish, but it's also serious. It's like, it's a hard ass song.
But the video is a spoof.
But no, but the videos, but it's also like, when we were shooting it, like the Jewish guy was shooting it, he's from like Azerbaijan and shit, like he's this Russian dude. And it's like, what are we gonna make it do like the Jewish gangsters? Like we're like, and it was true. We're in the Satmar gear. So the irony is you're like some badass Jewish dudes that are gonna like beat some dude's ass. In the schmoozing video, like, don't mess with these Jewish guys. Right. Instead of all the videos that you see with Jews getting chased or getting attacked. So now you have some Jews that look like you wouldn't want to pick a fight with them. Mm-hmm. And that's like the hidden spiritual undertone of that, of trying to be a strong representation in the Jewish community with clout, So it's like that was the idea of Kosha Dillz as a whole, was that like, don't mess with me. Don't mess with Jewish people. We're not some weak, softy crew of people.
Yeah, I don't think people really think that, though. Like, I think Jews have represented in music like crazy well. Like from Lou Reed to Bob Dylan to the Beastie Boys.
In rap, it's another story. Of course, yeah, Beastie Boys different, but for specifically in
even
Orthodox.
Yahoo.
Yeah, but in Orthodox Jewry. For sure, at least, especially like at the time that video came out, there were tons of attacks on Jews in Jersey City and Muncie. I think it teeters the line of like serious and hard And I think that's something, the reason why I haven't exploded is because it's not just a one-trick pony, right? I'm not a one-trick pony. I'm like a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that, I'm a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that. I could do it on the street, I could do it here. So, but in my own evolution, this is something I like to do. You know what I mean? I always like to have some sort of Jewish representation, because a big time when I was in jail, like I didn't want to really be Jewish. I didn't really like anything about being Jewish. And then as I became more popular as Kosha Dillz, I didn't have to do anything, because all the Jews just started appearing in my life because I'm named Kosha Dillz. You go into our Modesty Hour, everyone's like, oh, I saw you. Yeah, Kosha, I heard of you before. People come up to me on the street now in New York and they're like, hey, it's me. Da, 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 da. You know, it's really cool. So
it's a clever name, I have to say.
I appreciate it. I love it. It's pretty. It's an epic name.
What's your favorite kind of pickle?
I gotta give it a shout out to one of
my friends told me to ask you that, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him I was interviewing you, and he said, ask him what his favorite pickle is.
There's a couple companies I would shout out.
He thought that was like an amazing question.
He's like, oh my God.
When he said that to me
before ever.
And when he said that to me, I was like, I'm not gonna ask him that. And then but here we are.
Okay. It'd be like, hey, so like you paint, right? So like what's your favorite color?
That's a good question, man. I don't know. It changes. That's like asking like what's your favorite note. It's like they work together.
I gotta hit those G's, bro.
They work. Man, I love a D. I can't help it.
So my favorite kind of pickle is there's this company called Marcia's Munchies.
Yeah. It's
a micro brewery for pickles. It's a micro brand. They have these little hotties, which are like, they feel tangy, but they're hot.
Nice.
Yeah, I mess with those. Obviously, can never go wrong with some Grillo's pickles. Shout out to Grillo's. They have some nice little stuff, all called. And then
I like the pickle guys on Essex.
Yeah, obviously the pickle guys on Essex, if you're talking New York and, basically the rest of the world.
They always have a stand right here on 6th Avenue, right near the theater before COVID.
Oh, man. And honestly, I'm going to come out with my own brand of pickles too. It's been in the works.
That's
so.
what that needs to happen.
Yeah,
that you should definitely do.
Yeah.
When you set up the street stuff, is it battery operated or you plug it in?
Yeah, it's a little battery. It's a little battery operated, Bluetooth, plugs right to the Spotify. I just run instrumentals off Spotify, make a little playlist, boom, boom, boom. Rap, and then set up the vinyl, and people are like, whoa, I love this. You're the best.
And you got like a wireless mic or just
No, the mic plugs into the back of that.
All right.
And then
one speaker.
One speaker, man. That's all you need.
And do you do it every day?
No, not every day. No, not every day. But I do sort of like rehabilitation commitments. I could be like, at one time I did a thing called I did a 90-day street performance where I performed 90 days in the street in a row. And anywhere. It started in January, so it was like cold, and I had to do it here. I got to do it 20 minutes. I would just go out every day, even if I didn't make money, and just record a little bit. Day 94, day 54, day 64. Until you hit 90 days, and to the point where. Some days we were stretching a little bit. Some days we're kind of cutting it close, but we did it.
So do you have any plans in the future, like touring-wise, set up or anything like that? Or are you still waiting on everything?
I have a tour that I was supposed to get rescheduled with Red Gold Green and Lil Stranger. There's like this bands. They're one's based out of D.C., one's based out of Carolina. And I was supposed to be the opening act, and we were doing, the Coachella side parties and this venues on the West Coast to the East Coast. And I had a festival with like Method Man and Action Bronson, and all this stuff got pushed back. And hopefully, in September, they say September, we're going to be doing all these shows. Yeah. But I have a backyard in Brooklyn now. We could maybe do a little 10-person private show or something. I would be really thrilled. I'm shifting.
Definitely do that.
I'm shifting to creating custom songs for brands, for tech companies, for performing on Zooms, for performing on Clubhouse. I'm on this app called Clubhouse.
I'm on it too.
Yeah, and
I just started. It's cool.
It's cool. We brought the first Holocaust survivor on Clubhouse. We're bringing him back on in the week coming up, and he.
What's your handle on?
It's just Kosha Dillz.
Okay, I'll look you up.
But my regular name Rami comes up. and doing like I'm just on there, like I'm just doing whatever culture. I'm just being part of the convo. I'm not trying to be the superstar. I'm just like part of it, and if I could get a couple new fans and friends that are like really digging what I'm digging, then
it's great. It's because it's like it's all substance based. It's all based on conversation.
Yeah,
it's the opposite of like, or not maybe the opposite, but like the image thing of Instagram and all that.
Right.
It's all so image based. This is completely different from that.
Once you hear the voice,
but you have to spend a lot of time on it, I think, to like really kind of. That's the only thing. It's a time thing, but I think it's time well spent if you can.
It is time well spent
if you can, like, you know. For one, there's a lot of like really interesting conversations going on, so you can like.
Yesterday, I was on like a thing about how to make it in the music business, and Rob Weiss was in there, who like produced and directed Entourage, and I was like, "Oh, dude, I follow that guy. I'm gonna go. What's he doing in there?"
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized he was out of the room, and it was this guy, 24 Hours, who I'd somehow met. He was a rapper under the name Royce Rizzy, and he got signed to Jermaine Dupri, and people didn't know what he looked like for a long time, and he became really popular and got a gold record. And I followed me online, and he's like, "Yo, now I'm going to check out all your stuff." And I got to tell my story to them when there was like 10 people in the room, and they didn't want to talk yet because they wanted more people to come in the room.
Right.
So I was like, "Sure, I'll talk to you for like right now for." And they got to listen to my story. And if you like have time, that's a big theme about the album. Nobody cares except you. The album was originally called Nobody Cares
except you. I don't know the rest.
Nobody cares about anyone.
But you.
But because once you're like, oh, this guy Kosha Dillz asked him about pickles, blah blah blah. But then you spend time and you're like, wow, he's actually a little bit deeper than, you know, a pickle stand or something like that.
Of
And, you
course,
know,
no, that wasn't the vibe. He just saw
right. But in general,
it wasn't a diss.
But in general, someone walked by, I'll be like, oh, it's just some guy rapping on the street, and like, you didn't know that I got a $50,000 commercial rapping on the street. You didn't know that
I had too.
I had not from rapping on the street. That was, but that story was connected. I got that with my boy Jesse Shack, and shout out to Jesse Belief, and then I went to go support him at the Grammys, which he was nominated for Grammys for doing work with Sia, and I couldn't get a ticket. I tried to buy one for my boy Megaran. I tried to buy someone from somebody else. My roommate at the time, Lonnie, who went from being, you know, a $12 an hour tech at a rehab to now being like a rehab mogul millionaire, and he was a cab driver at the time, and he goes, why don't you just go rap outside the Grammys? I'm like, no, I should be in the Grammys. The Grammy-nominated producer made 2 of my albums. Like, I should be in there talking with people. And little would I know that I would bring my stupid little speaker outside your stupid little Grammy party and start rapping and meet somebody else who would boom something else and bump and a bump. And next thing you know, pow.
Well, that's it. That's like, you have to just kind of, with creativity and everything, you just have to get on with it. And that mantra of nobody cares except you is like is actually really positive to just like push you towards like, don't let the fear of what other people think ever stop you. Yeah.
And I got moved that night at the Grammys like 4 times. And that year, dude, was like a defining year. 2015, I made like 6 figures in music. I felt like, I mean, I spent almost the same amount, but like, because I did Warp Tour. It was just like an crazy year how that happened, and to get a commercial like that I just said 3 words in it, and it was just on every day in Chevrolet. I had nothing to do with music. It was just like, I just got this commercial. It wasn't like, here, you get to rap in a commercial. It was like, no, this is it. And you know, I think as a musician, everyone's like, what's your dream as a musician to make it? And you're like, I just dream to be like always having work so I could get more attention, so I could just do cool shit, you know? Like, I hope this podcast gets so many views that I get contacted by someone else and gets me on another journey, and then someone else sees you, and, you know, and the same thing, you know? I think ultimately I have no choice but to accept that, or else I would do something totally different.
Yeah, but it's the practice of doing it in spite of whatever comes from it.
That part, yeah.
You need that part.
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
stuff isn't always going to happen.
Well, exactly. That part will weather you through the dry spells, of which there will be many in a long career. Even for people that have huge amounts of success, there's the ebb and flow of life. So you just can't avoid it. So I don't know. it's good to focus on achievements, but it's also good to just kind of focus on the practice and incremental steps towards what you want to achieve.
This year I had a song that was like a big EDM song. I said 8 words. It got like the most plays of any song I've ever done in my entire life. And I was like, I can't believe this is the biggest thing I've done. And
what was it?
Called Sexy, featuring Cascade. And I basically say, this one girl just texted me, yeah, feel really sexy, yeah. And that's it.
It ain't exactly Bob Dylan, but, but it is like the Rolling Stones, maybe.
Yeah.
So, do you do anything actively to manifest, like in terms of like, you know, like
that day I did. Well,
you put like
that day somebody called me up. He's like, could you do this? And I was like, yeah, bro, I'll show up and I'll do it for you. I don't care if it's for your kid's sister. I didn't really know what we were doing. And we just did a bunch of these vocals, and that's what I ended up on. Yeah. As far as now, do I manifest as in
like visualize and do all that kind of stuff, like The Secret and things like that?
I don't. I do visualize things, but I don't do it in a practice like The Secret. I think I just really daydream, and I like imagine myself performing in front of thousands of people.
Well, that's it. I mean,
but
that's totally it right there.
I do want to manifest,
Kanye.
Instead of, I would love to manifest that. I am trying to manifest me performing for like a billionaire prince in like Saudi Arabia, where I'm like his rapping court jester. I really want to be like a court jester of like a
Careful
royal
what
family.
you wish for. That sounds like a nightmare.
You're like, Kosha Dillz is gonna rap right now,
Israelis can go to Dubai now. So
yeah, I know.
So that market's open.
But the thing I really like to do is that, everyone, I think, especially musicians, we want to play for 5,000 people. But there's a difference between playing for 5,000 people and having 5,000 people be there for you.
Yeah, of course.
And like I've done those shows, and I want to like go those steps of getting 200 people there for me everywhere I go, and 300 people there for everywhere I go. And, I think, right now, there's people everywhere, and just keep attracting them into my life. And I think I'll do that as long as I go out with the idea of showing up. Yeah.
Are you in recovery actively? Like, do you go to meetings on Zoom and stuff like that?
I'm a 12-step dude. I mean, for 16 and a half years.
That's amazing.
It's pretty crazy, dude. I posted about it recently, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're so inspiring." It just feels weird. It just feels weird. Because, I rap about fun stuff, I don't rap about the dark struggle of life and being in jail and, oh, man, and the drugs, I don't really, fucking like, I rap songs about Pickles, Tommy Pickles, you know what I'm saying? Tommy Pickles is on the album. Schmoozin', So, but, I like this conversation because I think people will be like, whoa, I didn't know you had any substance to you, Kosha Dillz. But, yeah, man, my stories.
I knew you were going to be a good conversation.
Thanks, bro. You tell I needed to talk, right?
Well, welcome to New York.
Thanks, man.
That's all I could say. That was fun.
Welcome to New York.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, Rami.
Yeah, man.
Where can people buy the album?
So I have a Bandcamp, koshadilz.bandcamp.com. And I also have districtlines.com/Kosha Dillz. districtlines.com/Kosha Dillz. My merch store has all the merch and the record, but that's pretty much it. And then
which I just subscribed to.
Yeah,
at
Kosha Dillz. Yeah, everything's Kosha Dillz. And Spotify, you guys could follow or subscribe to where this is on YouTube. So hit that YouTube and go down a Kosha Dillz hole. Just spend 2 days on a Kosha Dillz wormhole.
On his Instagram.
Are they proud of you?
Huh?
Are they proud of you?
I'd say so.
Do they like what you do?
Yeah, I think they love it. My mom's so impressed.
Yeah.
She's like, it's so impressive.
She's
amazing. Super impressed.
Yeah.
They still live in Jersey?
Yeah, they live in Jersey.
Damn.
Yep, they got the house in Israel and the house in Jersey, man.
How often do you see them?
Well, I was there with them for like 2.5 weeks while I was just looking for this place. I spent like a long time.
Yeah.
And, I really love calling them, because I know a lot of people that have lost their parents. So I take the pride of calling my mom as much as I can, call my father, and just checking in, because I know I will live a longer period of my life without them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Did they get vaccinated?
My mom, yeah, I think she got vaccinated. My pops is still waiting.
My folks got the first shot.
Lit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not psyched about getting it myself because I already had it anyway, so I
Yeah,
have
but
the
you had
antibodies.
it like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
All right, Poppy.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Rami.
Kosha
Check
Dillz.
him out. Nobody
Whoa.
cares except you.
Rami.
You want to
Thanks.
give us a line to end the
Yeah.
Oh, like a rap?
Take us out.
Just a little
Give me a little
something.
something.
Give us a little
What should I
something.
shout out?
Just do off Nobody Cares Except You.
Oh.
Or freestyle.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Should I do a freestyle?
Yeah.
What should I freestyle about?
How great this podcast was.
What specific words should I use in the podcast?
Come to Where I'm From, Cafe Bohemia, and Joseph Arthur.
Okay.
Is that too hard? Is that too much?
He wanted to give me a hard word. I'm like, word? He's like, include Joseph Arthur. My bars first. Bohemian Rhapsody. Ehud was like, can you rap for me at the Bohemian Cafe? Actually, come to where I'm from. From where I come, people don't know where I'm. Hey, whatever, bro. I don't need to say anything. It's a hard look. I'm like Cardi B in a commercial with Wayne's World and Garth Brooks. Just kidding. Listen, I mixed up the things and victims of when I rip a rap. I lost my wallet on the train, but I found my pickle mask. Then I found my wallet later, and I kept all the cash. This is the way I rap. You know that it's a fact, and I hope when you see me, you don't give me a dap. You give me a 20 stack. I appreciate my best flows, Western Unions, Cash Apps, Venmos, and all kinds of crazy songs. And we gonna get a crazy wrong answer for everyone who doesn't give to my Patreon. And I love this podcast when I'm busting it fly. So if you hang out with me and Joseph and Ehud, I hope you subscribe and like and comment. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks,
Zing.
Kosha.
Thank you, Rami.
Zing, zing,
All
zing,
right.
zing, zing.
Later, bro.
Peace.
Hi, this is Joseph Arthur. Thanks for checking out Come to Where I'm From. Please support us on Patreon, patreon.com/come to where I'm from. We are an independent podcast, and any contributions you can make are greatly appreciated.